Oh, we're waiting for these bans, by the way, John. I had a thought to myself after we casted the Nigma Galaxy.SEA game yesterday. Is the Nigma Galaxy EU team, are they called Nigma Galaxy EU, or is it just Nigma Galaxy? Because I'm going to get upset if they're not called Nigma Galaxy EU, right? I get it. They're the European team. They're TI winners. I understand. I demand equality. I want Nigma Galaxy EU as long as Nigma Galaxy SEA has to stand. Is that what we're having, John?
I hope so. I'm curious about the initials. Are they also going to be NGX? I feel like that's
Yeah,
going to be
that's going to be a
confusing
problem.
at some point, right? We'll have to see when we cross that road. You know, maybe both teams go to a major. That would also be,
Oh, that would be
very
amazing.
confusing for a lot of people.
That
Yeah,
would
that would be great.
amazing. I hope it happens. It would be really just amazing. Shout out to the European Nigma Galaxy as well. I mean, we're just joking, by the way. You don't have to change your initials because some idiot caster said so. The third pick puck is there for Nigma Galaxy.SEA now, John. So I suppose that's going to be the Makoto puck in the mid lane. Execration, they'll go straight into the mid storm, and then the line as well. So some great counters here towards the puck already. In fact, counters towards everyone on the side of Nigma Galaxy with that line pickup. I think the draft from Execration looks pretty damn solid so far.
Yeah, they've built themselves up a great foundation from the Grimstroke Mars into the Storm and Line. They know the mid matchup. The puck came first. So the Storm Spirit, I think Bob has a pretty decent lane there. We've seen pucks get bullied out by Storm Spirits before. Just down to how often a Storm Spirit can spam out the Remnant, spam out the Overload, get a Vortex if the puck gets too close. Whereas puck, cooldowns on Orb is a bit longer. Cooldowns on the Waning Rift for clearing out Creep Wave is a bit longer. So it can be tough to maintain that same presence in lane compared to the Storm. And Execration covered their base with a line as well. So they block off potentially a line with a flex on the snap, although likely not to happen. And you get a good way of hexing the puck. Get really good control for such a slippery hero. Great burst to play with early. Synergizes so well with your Grimstroke. Double Hex, double Earth Spike, double Finger. So much value in picking up that line. And now you could run a Mars Lion lane with a Pause 4 line instead, which just lines up for even more aggression because you've got Earth Spike and Hex. And that just leads to really easy setups for those spears. So I think they've got the tools on Execration. NGX, Ursa comes out. So this is one of those heroes that, like the Monkey King against Tide or Mars, kind of doesn't care for that durability, right? Like you run up, you get your stacks up on the swipes, and you just do damage anyway. You don't really care for the Bulwark or any of that, although you don't tend to see that in lane. But it's still a melee hero against Mars. Right. And Mars still has tools to play against that. Now, mind you, for NGX, they do have Ursa Bane. So you can kind of play with Nightmare setup into the jump in with the Earth Shock, get the slow off, get the hits off. You will have to dance around those stunts, and I think that's where NGX's more aggressive posturing with that duo might kind of have to take a step back there.
Okay, fair. I mean, it's an interesting matchup, right? Because we usually see Mars picked into Ursa at times because you can spear away the Ursa. So it kind of goes both ways as well. Like the Mars, unless he misses the spirit, he kind of messes up. Should be relatively safe. I say that he is going into a Bane, so you've got the Nightmare setup. It can make it relatively difficult. We'll wait and see how they deal with it. Execration, though, final pickup. They need a pause 1. What do you want? Only 7 seconds left against the Ursa. Never mind, they're going to go for the Void round. We saw this yesterday, John. It won one game, it lost one game. When it looks bad, it looks really bad. And when it looks good, it looks okay, is the way I see it with this pause 1 Void. Do you like it into the draft into what Nigma Galaxy is going for them?
I think into Nigma Galaxy's draft, it makes sense. You can just lock in the Ursa. His Enrage is not going to dispel off Chrono. You know, that stat resist does nothing to Chronosphere, so you always have this really good control to hold down the Ursa and the puck. You don't really have damage coming in to the Chrono. That's my big issue. Like, Void drops Chrono, Storm can maybe get a couple of hits. It's not amazing. And now you have to deal with a Veno in the lane as well. So NGX are putting a very tight timer in themselves by running the Venomancer. And I know you've got strong feelings about the Veno.
Oh,
especially when we saw it at TI for
you're gonna bring that up again. I'm still I'm gonna meet March one day. He's gonna get a very long lecture from me about that pos 3 Veno he gave to Cuckoo at TI. I'm still very upset about that. Very, very upset, March. I know you're listening, by the way, March. I know you're watching. Don't choose Cuckoo Veno again, please.
Still, I think the Venom makes sense for NGX. So what they want to do is just snowball hard, right? For Execration, Storm, Void, they need items to be up and running. The Mars can kind of try to set that tempo for you, but it takes a while, especially for the Void, to hit that big spike. Compared to an Ursa. Ursa just needs a Blink, maybe a Morbid Mask, and you're pretty much good to go. Diffusal Blade afterwards, Basher BKB, S and Y perhaps as well for stat resist, and you're really, really good to go with those cheap items. For Faceless Void, we've seen Maelstrom, Massive Madness, and even then you're not doing much damage. You're just trying to farm. So the timing for the Void's very late, and the Venmancer can punish that in lane. I think that's what NGX are going to shoot for. Early timing in this game, 25 to 30 minutes to hit their spike. If they can do that and prevent Execration from dragging it on too long, they should be able to overwhelm that Void.
Okay, fair enough. We're going to go into it. Game number 1 between Nigma, Galaxy.SEA, and Execration. John, did I ask you who had the superior draft? I don't think I did. Who has the superior draft going into game 1? Uh-oh. John looks very confused right now. I think we might be having a technical difficulty here with johnxfire. He's not saying anything, which is scaring me even more, John. Are you cosplaying
I saw you pop
right
in
now?
and out of... No. I saw you pop in and out of Discord. I was like, what? While you were mid-sentence, I was like, Then I checked my connection. I was still connected, so I was just very confused.
I'm going to get you off camera, John, because I'm going to save you the embarrassment of being on camera. You look very confused there, Jonathan. I was there the whole time. I assume, because I was talking to you the whole time, you should know that I was there.
Yeah.
Did you hear me the whole time?
No, it cut off right as you were going into your spiel. So I actually didn't hear anything.
Fair enough. Well, I asked you who had the superior draft, but we've got a 5-man smoke, so forget that question. Paulson, going to be on the front lines here for the side of NGX, moving into that Radiant Triangle. They'll find BDZ. Ping's already out. Paulson, he's got the Nightmare. BDZ, wake up, sir. He was looking across the map somewhere, and that should be first blood going the way of NGX, as Makoto, of all people, will take it on the puck. And I've said this before, John, but if you were pubbing right now, your mid player would be very upset with you if you're the line.
Oh, yeah. He had enough time to react. I think he did have vision to see that smoke pop. They do manage to punish. Great first blood. NGX is not going to ask any questions. They'll take the freebie for Mikado. They should be able to find 3 bounties as well. If Mikado decides to play aggressive on his bot rune, we'll see.
The battle
He will.
begins.
And it's still essentially a 4v5. In fact, RR, he may have gone too far up. Gale doesn't connect, but they've got so much damage with that minus armor out from Jokam. Fairy Fire is going to be eaten up. Mizu, he's going to keep the chase up. The salve is there now. And RR will eventually make it out. He's lost quite a bit of regen, I'd say, with that salve usage. And he's actually going to TP back to the T1 tower. I suppose you may as well if you're full HP now. So a very close call there for Execration. Nigma Galaxy.SEA, though, off to a great start.
Yeah, first blood under their belt. They get to go back in lane. This is a really strong duo coming out from NGX. Just having Snapfire plus Venom. Lots of early damage. Lots of early control that they can leverage here. So, big spike for them is like level 3. Once you get level 2 Gale or level 2 Poison Sting, you can really just apply the harassment onto the side of Execration. Just get the slows off, follow up with a Cookie Stun, or even just more slows from the Scatter Blast and Nuke. And that can be a tough time for a bot. You can time walk off the damage, but Venom's damage is mainly DOT, which makes it very awkward for the Faceless Void to figure out when the right time to use that time walk would be. And I think all you need is Jokam to really apply that extra pressure on top, and that should put a dent in the Faceless Void's early farm.
Absolutely. Of course, over in the mid lane, you've got Makoto there against Bomb. So far, pretty even matchup. Makoto just falling a little bit behind in CS, but should be fine to just catch himself up. Can't forget either, he does have that first blood gold going for himself, so he obviously is going to currently have the net worth advantage on the puck. Bob, though, having a decent enough time so far.
Yeah, again, the matchup for Puck isn't exactly the most favorable. There are a lot of ways for the Storm to play around that edge, especially if you do get that Vortex on level 3. So if the Puck just missteps one bit, drop the Remnant, get the Vortex, get the Overload charges on, and Mikado can lose a lot of HP. He's already down to just a Fairy Fire left. Does have the wand for the spell spam of Bob, but there he goes, just trying to harass out Mikado, and until the bottles fly in, regen's going to be a bit tight. So you have to watch that, and Bob just clearing out the creep wave in a much more comfy manner.
Certainly so. Over at the top lane as well, Paulson in your dream going to be there against Tino and BDZ. We talked about this matchup a little bit it can kind of go either way. And it seems like In Your Dream's having a decent enough time farming himself. Tino's doing the exact same thing. It feels like the kill potential's there from either side, but it's also very hard, especially for NGX to actually get the initiation they want to at this top lane, to really be able to lock somebody down and just kill them off.
Yeah, it's tough for Paulson to just find that angle. They'll just find it now, but...
Well, the Earth Spike comes out, In Your Dream gonna rush forward. In fact, they want Tino instead. They shouldn't have enough, but they can turn back onto BDZ. A few more hits off there within Your Dream, and that'll be enough for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's just tough. Like, if you're on Execration side as well and trying to line up for the spear, they're not giving clear angles. So I think both sides understand that the safest play is posturing and just trying to build up as much farm as possible, clearing out the range creeps where you can. Wave is in favor of Tino, though, shoving in. He's going to get a good EXP spike, and once you hit level 3 on both the Mars and the Lion, that's where things can get a bit dicey. Like, there is a lot more control and a lot more damage that can fly through if IYD is not careful.
Certainly so. Bot lane going pretty decently for a bot, considering he is against the Veno right now. He looks very, very healthy, and in terms of CS, he's having a great old time, but hold that thought, because mid lane, Makoto is being chased by Bob. Will dodge one hit, but oh, he's going to dodge another. The orb is there in time. Bob, though, going to force him back to the fountain, I believe, as top lane. They do end up killing off Policy.
Yeah, In Your Dream is still posturing aggressively. Tried to dive under tier 1, could be punished.
Yeah, nice Earth Spike. Tino, though, doesn't have the mana, nor the Soul Ring to regen the mana for the spear. We'll have to let In Your Dream run off now on the Ursa. So far, though, so good. I feel like every lane is just going kind of swimmingly for the side of Execration.
Yeah, they're winning out their lanes. They're getting the farm they need. Top 3 heroes in CS are all from Execration's end. So even that rough faces Void lane isn't too tough for a bot. He's still copying a lot of damage, but they're not finding the angles from NGX to be aggressive. And I think that's where you really need to start finding some opportunities. You have to zone out the Void harder. You have to prevent that farm from coming in, because if a bot gets this timing on his power treads and early Maelstrom or Massive Madness, he will be able to farm up at the same pace as an Ursa can, almost. Like, Ursa can clear out camps a bit faster with Earthshock, but the Void has the mobility with the Time Walk as well.
Bit of a bottle regen or bottle fill up there from BDZ. Top lane Tino has been left alone, but he's a pretty tanky boy. He'll be alright. Has the phase boots up now as well, so he's more than happy to just try and trade with Polison. So you are still going up against the Bane, so, you know, he's always going to have that brain sap available. And mid lane, Makoto going to get caught out with the Vortex, but BDZ, can he break the gap? He does. He's got the Earth Spike off into the Hex, and that'll give Bob a very, very nice kill. BDZ even going to be able to walk away with the Fairy Fire being consumed. Joe Cam, he makes the rotation mid, but it's all too late.
I gotta give props to Execration. They're making use of these nice ward drops on mid very well. They're just camping that puck. They're leveraging that slight level advantage Bob had early on with his EXP, and hit 6. They look to play aggressive, catch the puck out. The control from Lion against the puck is just so great. And that's where the Lion pick really shines, just enabling the Storm to snowball a bit faster. NGX have rotated a lot of heroes down mid now, though.
Absolutely, BDZ dropping low, but Dream Coil has been committed onto Bob, and he breaks the coil. Be able to try and zip away, but the silence is there. Cookie does land as well. Now the Nightmare is actually going to duke out the damage of the orb, so Bob, he's going to be alright. Never mind, though, Polison. He's got the brain sap. I suppose he just kind of KS'd the puck there. The Polison might still run into BDZ. Has the brain sap in 3 seconds. BDZ use the stick charges, and he will be able to survive Polison. He wants to die for this. Polison, you're going too far, but he gets the kill. Oh, Polison, you cheeky, cheeky boy.
Stupendous.
You love to see it. You know, Paulson, he's been so upbeat recently. It's good to see it. It's reflecting in his playstyle. Dives deep, gets the reset he wants anyway, although down pot.
Yeah, Bob, he's going to have a big, big zip out onto Mizu. A lot of damage being committed. Cookie is there, but Bob understands how far he can push the Storm. Does manage to secure the kill, but can he get out of this scenario? Well, absolutely, he definitely can, as now the Chrono's been committed. A Bart going to move in onto the Snapfire with the Inkswell out, and this should be another kill for Bob on the Storm. As Polison, he'll get a Nightmare off. Makoto, he'll make the rotation over. Coil up in one. Eventually, he should be able to secure this kill, but look at this, Bob. He's going to move back in onto the puck, Makoto. He'll be able to get the kill onto the Void and might even try to turn on the Bane. Bob, he's got a triple kill now on this Storm, but Makoto, he's looking for a big cleanup here. Can he land a nice orb?
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
He's going to find RR. Won't quite find the target he really wanted, but does get something for his trouble.
Feels like it's still fairly worthwhile for Execration despite losing their Void. They find all the kills. They're building up on Bob. This is the hero that needs to snowball to set that pace, and he's got 4 kills under his belt, so it's looking good, and rotating mid as well.
Oh, and a double damage. BTS takes it for himself. Why the hell not? Jocam, he's going to get hexed up. Can they finish the kill off, though? Not quite, Makoto. He's going to join the fray. BTS still trying, but Jocam eventually is going to be able to secure the kill.
Yeah, just a bit too far forward there. Good punishment coming out from NGX. And they're starting to stabilize their kill board. 7-6, less than 1k lead is running for NGX. That is mainly on the fact that In Your Dream has managed to transition to the jungle. So he just leaves lane, gets a lot of space for himself, not being scouted out. And he does get to start to build up on the Ursa. For the side of Execration, it's time to just kind of reel it in onto tempo. They are going for a Midas build on a bot, so they understand that they're looking at late game scaling, not going to go for these in-between items like the Maelstrom. They just want that steady flow of EXP and gold. And that does mean that they should be very conscious of the fact that if they can't fight, they will get caught out.
Bob, can be just fine for now. Paulison unable to find the Nightmare. Just get right back to farming on that Storm. Gives the free space over to a bot in the mid lane. It's allowing him to access that triangle. And NGX, thus far, less than 1k net worth lead behind side of Execration. And I dare say, John, this is a much better performance from Execration than last time you saw them. As Bob tried to make the zip in with the Inkswell, but won't be able to quite find Makoto. At the very least, he does force out the rotation from Jocam.
Radiant structures
Yeah.
are fortified.
And they're still keeping that pace. Like, there's so much responses towards mid to just stop Bob from snowballing forward. That their focus on their side lanes are kind of getting taken away. I think for NGX, this kind of start isn't favorable. You wanted to snowball a bit harder with your Venomancer, dominate the lane more, but the Veno is just sitting in lane, Void's already in jungle, so you're really not taking farm away from anyone. You're just building up your own farm. That can be the shortcoming of the Veno, as you love to kind of point out, Mike. They are rotating mid, though.
Yeah, they've got Bob there. Kisses are in, but they're cancelled off immediately by BDZ. Meanwhile, Arena drop, but they've still got Bob. So the Storm's gone. Great pickup, and now with the Fiend's Grip, they might find another. Tino, he's going to drop the boot. BDC, he's not out of the woods yet either. Paulison, he's done some great work already on this Bane, and he's set up another kill, though, a great Earth Spike. But it's not going to be enough.
They at least forced the kill to go onto Paulson, so not the ideal circumstance for NGX, but they still slow down the Storm. They're still stalling out that Orchid timing. Mikado is ahead on his puck, and is set to go, although
Paulison does juke out the Inkswell, but there's no escaping the grasp of Bob. Find another. The net worth has officially swung the way of NGX now by 1k. Looks like they are finally warmed up.
Radiant's bottom tower
yeah,
is
they're
under
hitting their
attack.
stride. The key thing for NGX here, Mike, is that they should see that the Faceless Void has an extra glove of face, so they should figure out it's a Midas buildup. They should know that early chronos aren't going to be prioritized by Execration. They just want to stall out for the Void. They need to keep pressuring the map. They take the bot tier 1, and Mizu just gets that done by himself, shoving in the creep wave, using those wards. But you want to take activity here. Once you get this diffusal up on In Your Dream, you're in a pretty good spot to look for those kills. He might need a blink, and he might actually prefer to go Roshan first as well, but you will have that option available to you once your Ursa is ready to join the fray here.
NGX maybe looking to get aggressive. Paulison just going on a bit of a warding run here in that Radiant jungle. Execration still focused on trying to get that top tier 1 tower, and is that a
Dire's
Midas I
top
see?
tower is under attack.
Or
Yep.
not? Do you like
They
this,
know.
John?
It kind of makes sense if you know you're going late game, right? I think a bot understands that the intermediary build and just kind of focusing on early chronos just doesn't quite pay off. You want to have good farm in the Void, you want to scale into late game, get EXP. The Midas is the easiest way to do that, and he has had a fairly free game. So the greedy play can pay off, and there's just no punishment from NGX. They just haven't rotated towards that Faceless Void, and that just means it pays off.
Doesn't have the blink up, the Veno ward. Making it hard for him to get that initiation he was looking for. So we'll be unable to find anyone from NGX, and well, NGX, they will slowly continue just pushing in this mid-tier 1 tower. And I do mean slowly. It's a very slow process here. But eventually they are going to chip away at this. It's down a bot lane. Paulison.
For my coffin.
I believe they did see Bob.
Is under attack.
They could land a Fiend's Grip. That'd be a guaranteed kill here onto the Storm Spirit. Paulison's going to move in. Makoto, he's got the curl off. This should be a very easy Fiend's Grip to come in. In fact, they may not even need it, and they won't. Bob going to drop. Massive pick up there for the side of NGX.
And for NGX, every kill in that Storm just removes a tool from Execration. Stalls out Orchid, ensures that Storm is not ganking at the other lane. Your Void might be getting free farm, but the payoff for that is still fairly slow, and it opens up the potential for that slow siege mid. You just go back to it, clean it up, and again, deny more areas to farm for the Void and the Storm. We talk about it from Draft, Mike. Execration are gunning for a mid to late game timing. NGX might have gotten off to a slower laning start, but they have started to mount that pressure up now. 3k lead, 8 to 10, 2 tier 2 towers gone, no towers taken yet for Execration. Their Ursa diffusals up fairly soon. So that's a big power spike. That's when In Your Dream can either pressure for Roshan or just help out and dish some damage in these fights.
They're going back to that mid tier 1. In fact, Mizu's got it already. Mid lane, Tino, Bob. That power rune at 14. Double damage is there. Makoto going to jump in. Fiend's Grip is out. Paulison, he's got him. Bob going to get bursted down. They'll find Paulison in the end, but what does it matter? You just lost Bob and Jocam. Well, bit off the mark there with the cookie. Won't matter anyway. They're going to go right into that Roshan pit.
Just get the big kill that could possibly swipe the Rosh away. Clean up the Rosh. Get Aegis up. After that, Diffusal's not too far off once more for In Your Dream. So he is going to hit like a truck. He's going to have great forward presence. And there's not much Execration can do. They're not going to toss their Void in there just to get the Chronos deal off. They just want a bot to keep farming up. He is getting that farm up. Again, you're not punishing the Void. The issue is, are you getting enough on your other heroes here for Execration? Because the Storm timings are kind of getting tossed down now.
Mizu. Gander around. Inkswell's going to be there though. Tino going to try and initiate. Jocam going to be there to try and help out. Cookie is actually pretty darn nice, but probably not enough. Jocam, he should be the secondary target here for Execration as Jocam is still trying to run. Meanwhile, towards the south, Makoto, he's been caught out by a bot. A great chrono there. The Inkswell will land just in the nick of time to boot. Great plays from Execration, finding it 3 for nothing. And that'll mean even more time that NGX can't really take advantage of this Aegis.
All that time, In Your Dream was farming in a relatively safe spot, so he's not really going forward with that Aegis. It is still fairly early on for the Ursa to kind of join in. Like, the Diffusal is just finished now. So maybe if they waited for like 20 seconds to posture there, In Your Dream might have been able to join in and contribute. But now, we lose a lot of big heroes. They do know Chronos down though, so they could force something here.
Very aggressive jump in from Tino. He's going to try for the TP, but Jocam is already there, will secure the kill. RR should be just fine, but Paulison, he smells something. Drops the water, and that's a great Nightmare. He's already got the Aether Lens up on this Bane. He's got that massive range with the Nightmare out, and poor old RR not going to be able to quite escape.
And it's the one thing with Paulson, right? Like, he gets the kills on the Bane. It does pay off. You get these early Aether Lens. You even have the Keen Optic as well. So again, stacking up on range, easy to land that control out. It does give you more possibilities. They are scanning out the triangle again. Paulson is fairly alone. I think for NGX, they have to get their vision game up here. Just prevent any farm from coming true. They have locked in the bot jungle. Now it's just time to lock in the top triangle.
I'm having a bit of deja vu, John. Paulison and BDZ, I've seen this one before. Cookie is out, and they've got the Lion.
Is under attack.
Yeah. Just in the right spot at the right time. NGX knows where they have to play now. Cut off the triangle farm. Monitor the bot
look
jungle.
at this. I mean, they stack up a little bit. It won't matter that the Koya was committed, so they do lock down the Mars. Bob, he's still going to try and go after Paulison and does manage to pick him up. In the meantime, Jocam trying to find a secondary kill as RR. He is dropping so darn quick. But, I mean, that medallion and little shredder stacking, it's just a ridiculous amount of damage.
It really is. That's minus 11 armor off the bat. And for a lot of heroes at this point, that's basically all their armor. In fact, that is literally all the armor of Bob. So back to that point of efficiency, Mike. It does drop all the way to 0, and that's huge amplification. Not much that Bob can do if he wants to stand and fight, and even a hero like the March just feels so squishy. Mizu is kind of overstaying his welcome, though. You know, he's there.
Yeah, Arena down. Mizu has been caught out, and Bob. Well, Aeon Disc is already up, so Mizu, he's going to actually try and fight back here onto Tino. He shouldn't have enough damage, but he does buy out a bit of time. Just won't be anywhere near enough. Tino, he should make it to the fountain in time to heal up. In fact, it may not even be enough damage as it is, though. Man, Bob and Tino are both dropping extremely low. Bob doesn't have the lethal damage, though, so he would have been fine anyway. And yeah, Tino, he'll survive through it. You would have loved to have a coil in that situation, though, I'll tell you, John. Would have been a very nice double kill from Makoto.
Yeah, it would have lined up and allowed him to pressure onto the tier 2s, take more objectives, clear out the map, and really apply that pressure. Execration, you know, seeing that fight break out, they are ready to go for another chrono. It is up and running on a bot. They're going to go for the smoke play. No one up top, though. The vision from Execration, it's pretty good in the top area. Perhaps just relocating to get some safe farm up. They won't really be able to catch anyone out, and I think NGX, again, playing their cards right, holding the bot area, holding the bot jungle, just building up. We have not seen In Your Dream join in at all. Like, I expected him to make plays with the defusal up. Looks like he really just wants to be safe. Going for the BKB next, into the blink. So they're also playing a bit of a slower game on their pause, one here for NGX, but they are compensating with their side cores. We've seen Makoto and Mizu take so much activity. Still clumping up from mid as their top tier 1 is being pressured, but only tier 1. They can try to just slowly shove in the mid tier 2 now. And with a Venomancer with wards, you can certainly get that done.
But you can. Mizu, he'll get started. NGX just sticking together in that mid lane. Execration, they'll farm up the rest of the map. Meantime, In Your Dream, he's been a very, very quiet man today. Aegis is going to expire anyway, so it looks like he's going to be even more quiet. Just hasn't participated too much with his team as of yet. Speaking of his team, they are going to go as 3, smoke up towards that top lane and see if they can find themselves a pick-off. But even Execration are sticking as 5 right now, and well, they'll go for a 5-man smoke of their own. Everything available. You've got that big chrono. Polison in a position to break the smoke. Execration, they will have their smoke broken, but in the backside, Arena has been dropped. Mizu, he's got the Aeon Disc to protect. Chrono down, it does catch out the Bane, and that'll be enough to allow Mizu to die in peace to a bot. As now the kisses come in, a bot, he needs some help, but he's not going to have it. They still get the pos 1 kill, and they'll even find another.
It works out in favor of NGX. They force out Chrono, not the best use from a bot, but it did secure him his 1 kill. But Mizu is in the right spot. He breaks the smoke, forces all the spells to be tossed onto him, and with the Aeon Disc, it just takes so long to kill off the squishy Veno that he still gets off the poison over, and that's all you really want with this hero. You want to put your body up there, get your big ult off, and just die. You don't care at that point, your team will follow through. Execration have to be a bit cautious about that. We are seeing In Your Dream much more comfortable to show up in these fights. His BKB's flying out now, Mike. So you've got spell immunity on the Ursa. The control from your Storm, the control from your Lion and Mars aren't going to be a big factor. Whenever Chrono's down, In Your Dream will have free reign to just jump in and do damage.
And he will. Bit of a slower mid-game here from both these teams. Bot lane, never mind. They've got the Sapphire, so Bob's going to try and find a solo pick-off, but he's not quite there yet, as In Your Dream's going to join in, but Bob, he's out of mana. BDZ's going to jump in with the stun out. He might be able to secure Jokam, and does. It'll just cost him his own life. But he does also buy the time for Bob to get himself out of it.
Yeah, it's worthwhile for you to sacrifice your support in trade to save your Storm again. For Execration, that momentum is still riding on Bob. We are kind of shifting out of that time, though. It is starting to shift onto Faceless Void, but for the next 10 minutes, Bob is still a big influential part, and you will want to allow him to scale up. He is going for the BKB next to prevent that control. The grip will still be good. Nigma Galaxy, though, they know a bot is sort of isolated top. His TP's on cooldown. Being in a bit of an awkward spot, but they missed the scan.
That they do. They might still have a bit of a whiff that a bot is around. Orb was going towards the right direction. but they weren't jaunt over. So he's going to be safe for now. NGX still keeping the pressure up through this mid lane. Execration seemed pretty confident with their late game, and I think we kind of talked about this earlier. They certainly do seem to have the stronger late game lineup. So I guess if they just drag this game out for maybe another 15, 20 minutes, they will certainly be looking very, very strong. Being said, Ursa, I mean, these days it does transition pretty decently into the later stages of the game. Execration, mid lane, they might find Mizu, but again, that Aeon Disc going to make it very hard to actually initiate on this Veno. Every time they've tried it, it just kind of seems like bait. And they won't go for the attempt this time.
Yeah, it's not the target you want. At this point, you want to try to catch out bigger targets, try to jump the puck if possible. We have seen Mikado fall a couple of times. They will have to commit a lot of spells, but they've got the control. They will smoke up, still trying to find the angle. Chrono is ready. Bot can jump forward.
But it's that Aeon Disc, John. You don't want to jump the Veno right now. You'd much rather another target, but Mizu's been very clever in the way he's positioned himself to always be on the front. This time around, they've got In Your Dream. Problem is, Paulson's there. He's got the Fiend's Grip. Nightmare around onto the Ursa. Do you want to commit that Fiend's Grip? Not quite yet. He's waiting very patiently. He's In Your Dream. He's going to survive. Back onto the Void they go, and it looks like a Bart. He's going to be the one to drop. BDC, he's standing there just draining some mana, but he knows he's going to die. Mizu picks up the double. And you've got to give it to Paulson, John. That was a very, very patient Fiend's Grip. He waited for In Your Dream to be ready to turn around and just hit this Void. And a Bart never backed off. In fact, they even found another. Mikono. He finds a solo pickoff onto Bob.
That's massive. Big wins for NGX. You're seeing a damage issue here for Execration, though, Mike. You come in with Chrono. You've got BKB, Maelstrom, Hand of Midas. So you've got attack speed. But up against a hero like Ursa, who does have fairly decent armor and a lot of HP, you just can't melt him through. You do need the damage output to follow through from Finger, from the Storm, hitting from outside in. And they weren't quite lined up for that. It was an opportunistic Chrono, not a very well-planned one, and the opportunity just wasn't good enough for Execration to turn that around. So they're going to have to sit without Chrono for a minute 10. That's a very big amount of time where NGX can get whatever they want in the map. Heck, Roshan is up in half a minute. And without Chrono, you're not really able to contest too much. That's a lot of pressure to put onto Tino to look for the Blink Arena to just cancel off that big take.
Mizu again in that mid lane, just always frontlining for the team. Tino gonna cop a Gale. Mizu, he's just not afraid of anything right now. As long as that Aeon Disc is up, he is more than happy to play bait for the team. In Execration, they just refuse to take it. They will not make the jump in. And in the meantime, Roshan, gonna be up right now. In Your Dream, stop dancing, sir. It's time to take Roshan.
And Execration don't have vision out here. They don't have the information that Rosh is happening. They should have a clue with all the heroes missing on the map. They've just clumped up bot from that smoke, and they don't have an avenue to play. No Chrono, they have Arena, but Arena alone's not going to be enough. And that's the second Rosh going for free for NGX. In Your Dream, Aegis up, holding on to the Shard. Might look to pass it on, but they could look to take that next fight now.
They can try. Chrono up in 4. Kind of hard to take an engagement when you know that In Your Dream's got the Aegis up, but they'd love to just even find a support right now. And Joe Cam, he'll be the one to get started on. They'll just burst him down. Paulson, he's going to try to run, but the zip is there from Bob. But Bob, he's quite low on mana now. BDZ going to try and help him out. The Bane not dead yet, though. In fact, he's going to survive, but no. They finally get rid of him. But Bob, how do you get out of this? He is completely out of mana. He's going to BKB up, trying to zip down to the low ground, and maybe TP away, and he's actually going to make it. The coil, it's going to be onto the Grimstroke instead. Still not too bad of a team fight for NGX, but Execration certainly coming out on top.
And they make it work. That's the best case scenario for them. They lose 2 supports. They find 1 core and 2 supports in exchange. So in that benefit, they take that fight without popping Chrono as well. They will have that tool for the next team fight, whenever it may be. I'm just looking at the build up here on a bot fight. He's going for a Lincoln stance, right? So he's got BKB, spell immunity. He wants to be able to block off the grip, which the Lincolns will do for him, but it's a very defensive build. He switches out, so he's going for the what looks to be Sanj and Yasha, which makes a little bit more sense and is preferable. Like, you do want damage coming through. The Void, we've seen the Chrono, it's just not enough by himself, so the stats will help. The stat resistance rate, although...
Yeah, Fiend's Grip. They knew. They were just waiting for him to zip into the loving arms of Paulison.
Radiant's
they'll get him.
bottom tower is under attack. Dire's
Into the bot tier 2 tower they go. That'll allow them the outpost control here for NGX. Of course, Execration trying to do the exact same thing at the top lane. It just seems like NGX has always got their
Radiant's
number.
bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, they're working the map really well on NGX. They're pushing in 2 lanes. Execration only have 1 lane in their control up top. The push isn't amazingly fast as well, so they're going to have to respond to the shove-in. They still have to deal with the Aegis up on In Your Dream, and he's just playing really far forward. He does not care.
No, he doesn't, but Ink's Spear is going to be there. They'll lock him down. Finger out. They want to burst down the Aegis, but no, the Nightmare dodge Paulison. He jukes out the finger damage. In Your Dream's perfectly fine, and now Tino, he's going to try and BKB and start a fight. Abart, he's there with the Chrono, but he's only got Mizu there. Aeon just going to proc. They'll keep trying. They will try. Nightmare's still coming out. Mizu still alive. Vortex out, but no, In Your Dream, he won't die. Neither will Mizu. Not quite yet. Maybe they finally found him. He does finally go down on the Ursa. They take down the Aegis. It's looking decent for Execration so far, but here come the Mortimer's Kisses, Tino. He's going to melt onto another. They found BDZ with the Nightmare. And that was probably the best case scenario. They threw everything but the kitchen sink at NGX and it just wasn't enough.
No, it's a really awkward Chrono as well on the edge of Reno, but they're trying again.
They're going to try without the Aegis Pop, doing a substantial amount of damage with the Nightmare. Going to lock him down into the cookie. In Your Dream, going to try and go for the team fight, and he bursts him down. Bart, he's going to try with the Snapfire. Does get the kill with the Fiend's Grip. Paulison, he will just not let this Void be. He will go back after him. In Your Dream, going to go for the man fight. It's not going to work out though, Bart. He's got it this time around. Another Nightmare. They would love to kill Paulison, and it looks like they finally got him. So Bob, the initiation, it looked a bit wonky at first, John, but it ends up working out. Makoto apparently picks off RR. Tino gonna set up with the spear, but they've got the orb, but the problem is you are going right towards a Bart. You may have just given another kill away. Mizu, he's gonna try and help out, but the arena is down. Another great kill here for Execration. There's no go on to Mizu now with the Veno. You can go Scepter all you want, but it's only going to delay the inevitable. BDZ gets him this time with the finger. Execration pushing it back their way.
NGX overstayed their welcome there. Just pushing the envelope a bit too hard and gives a really big opening towards Execration. Like, the initial fight with the Arena Chrono was actually pretty bad. No one was in the Chrono. Maybe you cut off the backline, but you did not patch the Veno and the Snapfire in it because of the Arena pushing them back, so it actually didn't work out, but they still make it work afterwards. The Aegis gets expended, or Ursa is a bit too far forward. The bashes are becoming an issue because a bot went for all of this attack speed with the Maelstrom and the Midas. He has a ton of right-click speed. The bashes just constantly fly through, and you don't have a counterplate for that. It feels like they might need a disarm on the side of NGX to prevent a bot from just taking control of that man fight, because if he gets more control compared to the Ursa, then he just went out. You know, the Ursa is not going to be able to do anything if he can't hit. And that is going to be the constant issue now for NGX. Very close game so far though, Mike. 26-30, less than 1k lead still riding there for NGX. But we are reaching that point we talked about from draft, where the Faceless Void becomes an issue as the game goes on. We're at the 31-minute mark. It's going to scale really well as we go into the 40, 45-minute mark as well. Scotty coming through for a bot. And there's just no counterplay for the Chrono. You are pretty much solely relying on Paulson to get a good grip, maybe having the puck stand outside and get the Dream Coil to get a mini stun just for a bit. Even then, it's a tough situation.
Yes. Four-man smoke up. Mizu again just going to take care of the mid lane while the rest of the team goes through the triangle. Not going to find anyone. Execration, they might go for a bit of a counter smoke now. They've got every ulti up. You have the smoke ready. Also a nice double damage rune down at the bot rune spot. But now both teams not going to run into each other quite yet. Execration, they'll run back into that Radiant jungle and just try to get their farm back up. Still a very, very even game right now between these two. You look at that craft, John. Win probability just going up and down, but right now sitting at 65% the way of Execration. Definitely very, very good news for the Radiant. You are starting to reach that point where it does feel like this Void is becoming a massive problem.
It really is. Like, it's so tough to play against it. We see In Your Dream just trying to hold his ground and get the right clicks off onto a bot, but the bashes are just flying through constantly, and In Your Dream has no answer for it. He needs his own bash. He's got the basher up. He's going into the Abyssal and trying to go for the Satanic next for sustain. So that should give the Ursa a second shot of a bit of a power spike in items. It's still a ways off, and that is going to be the prevailing issue. Like, you have to time yourself around playing against a chrono. You have to always have a good eye on where a bot's at, and you always have to be distanced enough from each other on NGX to not give that chrono opportunity. To be fair, a bot hasn't landed the big chronos yet, but as the game goes on, it becomes a lot easier to force heroes to be clumped up like that.
The smoke up. 5-man here from Execration. They're going to try and move through to that Roshan pit. I believe Mizu was spotted there for a second by the Observer Ward. Instead, though, a very juicy 3-man chrono could be coming apart. No, he's going to miss out. They're out of there immediately. But unable to close the gap to get a big chrono off. This smoke appears to not work out. However, they are still moving in. NGX, they might try to force this fight. Bob, he's going to move in. Who's he going after? A double Earth Spike. They've got the finger. They've got Paulison down. That's the target they wanted. Onto BDZ they go, but the Chronos, they're apart. He makes it just in the nick of time. Kisses around as well. This Ursa's not looking too healthy, and he will drop onto BDZ, but doesn't even matter anymore. You've already lost the team fight if you're NGX. In Execration, they can just keep trying to go onto Makoto, but they'll leave him be. They'll deal with the creep wave instead.
That is a really well-timed fight for Execration as well. Roshan in 15. If Execration are patient, they should be able to snatch away Roshan number 3, prevent NGX from trying to leverage their Ursa and clearing out that. And for NGX, I think the key thing is that Paulson cannot afford to die. Like, he actually can't afford to die first because they rely on him to fight against the Chrono. They rely on him to save the Ursa if he does get caught out.
Oh, zip in Bob. He'd love to catch Makoto at the moment. But Vortex, he's not even going to bother trying. So 2k advantage here for Execration. Things looking just splendid for them at the moment. I mean, what do you do now if you're NGX, John? It does feel like if Paulison's dead, the fight just cannot continue here for this dire end.
Yeah, it can. Like, they are relying a ton on that Bane to really give them control over a bot. I think the best play now is stick as 5 but kind of declump and just try to force Execration to stream in 1 by 1 somehow. Cut them off, get some good wards out, look for a gank opportunity. It's so hard to do that when Execration are the ones with really good ward vision. Like, they're watching the Roche pit, they're watching the mid lane, watching the river really well, so all the intercept points for NGX across the map are warded off. You can't get clean movement across to try to hunt someone down.
Another smoke being bought here by NGX. They're grouping up again through that mid lane. Abyssal Blade now up on In Your Dream, so you've got some nice control there. In the meantime, Execration, they've scouted out the Roshan. They have the information. Smoke will be popped. That was underneath an Observer Ward. So Execration, they could set up for a great team fight here in a bot. He's going to try and bait for the team. They are wrapping around the long way though. NGX trying to come in from the back. Paulison cannot afford to die first. It's a nice Observer Ward down for some vision. They'll see a bot. Meanwhile, Tino may have been spotted as well. They had an Observer Ward, but he's going to jump in with the arena onto the Snapfire in the backside. Mizu trying to start another separate team fight. Bob, he's going to jump Paulison immediately. They want that Bane gone. Chrono's down. They're just controlling him up, just making sure he can do nothing, but the Fiend's Grip is going to be there. Abart's going to try and help him out. Maybe now they can take the team fight. Kisses around Bob. He's gone. Abart, he's in big, big trouble. They've got him. They have got him. Onto another they go, Tino. He's been left behind trying to deal with this creep wave, but it looks like he's gone.
Oh man. think that actually stems down to the fact that Mikoto has that Aeon Disc. Like, he got caught in Chrono, he was the sole focus, they could not kill him off. And Paulson just stood outside, got the grip off on the Storm, drained his mana, opened up that angle for NGX, and now Execration, they were the ones in charge, they were the ones in control. They're gonna lose Roche number 3. That's cheese and refresher for NGX, and they must be kicking themselves if they see that refresh. Like, double Chrono would have been massive, double Arena would have been great as well, and now they're just gonna lack it. High ground opens up for NGX. It is a bit tough without having access to your Aeon Disc for another minute, but they should be able to clean up here.
Kodo, very, very deep on the puck. Won't go too far though. No fountain diving quite yet for our puckers. They do go onto that bottom tier 3 tower. You've got everything you can ask for right now, and knowing that the Chrono is down, it's a very confident push in from NGX. And Execration, they're just going to have to watch their buildings get torn apart here by this Ursa. As Bob, he can zip through for the creep wave, but the siege creeps are not going to care about the zip. Do they go for another though, John? Do you bother going down mid, or do you just go back?
They have about half a minute until Chrono is back up. It looks like they kind of learned their lesson. If they find an opening, maybe get a pick off first, they could try. But looks like they will play it safe. Just shove out the lanes, maybe gun for that tier 2 top, and just prevent Execration from bouncing back in. Because where it all fell apart for NGX for a while was in the high ground push. So they are respecting that high ground control and team fight from Execration a little bit more this time.
That's fair. I suppose you may as well deal with that last tier 2 tower before you actually try and go high ground again. Still plenty of time on the Aegis as well. Execration now. I mean, it seems like they had such a nice lead going for themselves, but it's kind of just gone back the way of NGX after one bad team fight. Stuck on their high ground, waiting for the next team fight to break out. But NGX, I think they might just go back and farm a little bit more. There's no real rush for them. In fact, in the meantime, you're going to get a Satanic up on In Your Dream. Ags is up on the Snapfire. You may as well just get these last core items before you go for that next high ground attempt.
Yeah, that's pretty darn big. The Ags on Jokam means that theoretically you have a Chrono save. If you do manage to get in, oh well, Gobble Up range is fairly short, but if it's on the edge, you could try to go for Gobble Up and just save someone from Chrono. That could be something that happens. Very niche and very rare, but that potential's there. Also, the initiation to toss in someone up front, to toss in specifically Mizu, I think is the best one. Just toss your Venom up front, have him drop the Poison Nova, use his spells, use his sight, and just have everyone follow up from there. Cause chaos first. Makes it a lot easier for NGX now to actually initiate and force these fights their way. So, major item pickup there. You are also inching towards Paulson's Ags Mike. So, the lower cooldown on grip means there's more uptime for Paulson to get control, and it's a bit harder to stop that grip now.
You know, nice spear back. He's got the Mizu Venom, but again, that Aeon Disc going to protect him as he gets the ulti off. Goes Scepter there, Jokam. Nice spear out. He'll save the day. He'll try to cookie down to the low ground, but he is still going to drop meanwhile on the backside. Bob, he's been stunned up again. Chrono's going to be there. They'll at least get Paulson down. In Your Dream, though, he's got the Aegis, he's got the Satanic, and he's safe. Instead, they'll try onto Mizu. Get the Venom Gob and Mizu. He'll eat the cheese in time. He'll survive. Back onto the void. They'll find the kill. Bart's gone without buyback. This is looking like game over here. NGX, they pulled it off. 4 down without buyback. There's no defense to come. In fact, Mikoto, he does end up finding the final piece of the puzzle. No GG core yet from Execration. I just don't see how you defend in this position.
You don't. You don't have Chrono, you don't have Arena on the respawn. That was such a tight play. We were just talking about how much impact that Axe would have. That save from Jokam, buying so much time for Mizu, allowing him to just juke them out, force the cheese use, force all the focus onto him, meant that they couldn't focus on In Your Dream, they couldn't clean up Mikoto, and it just gave so much to NGX. To play from that position, to play from being a bit behind up against a Void at this point in the game is extremely tough. And NGX just show us they have the fortitude to do that. No GG call yet, but the Ancient, it's not going to last long. The items.
Zip in onto the Venom. They're trying to go after Mizu Bob. He'll try to buy time, but there's your coil out. They've got the Storm. He's got nowhere to go. He'll try to heal up, but In Your Dream, just going to shred him. onto the Ancient they go. And I appreciate that Tino was trying to offer the Soul Ring to buy a bit more time for Execration, but in the end, NGX, they know no mercy.
No, they really don't. It was a really close game, though, Mike. This first game. It looked really good for NGX at the start, and then it started swinging the way of Execration once they had this timing on Faces Void. They were getting good chronos, they were isolating Paulson, ensuring the grip wouldn't be a factor, and just started cleaning up. However, they kind of fall into that bait of chasing Venomancer. Like, I don't think they were aware that the Snapfire Gobble Up was there, so they kind of pile onto the Veno, try to clear out that hero, but with the save Jokam had, it just stalled out the rest of the fight. They were forced to go further down the lane to try to catch someone out. They were forced to dive further with the Storm, forcing it to split up. And that's where NGX shined. With the Abyssal up on our Ursa, they just managed to clean up really well, and the patience for NGX to pull that off against that draft, it's just spectacular way of turning it around.
Certainly so. Of course, we do have game 2 between these two teams coming up very, very soon. Just a short 10-minute break. And right after that break, we'll be back to see how this game number 2 does pan out. We'll see you all again very soon.